Hi, I'm Ellis George, play Courtney Woods, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast.
Hi, I'm Janet Fielding. I played Tegan in Doctor Who. The Fiveish Fangirls. Have a good time.
Hi, I'm Carol Ann Ford. I played Susan in Doctor Who. And I've been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast, and it's absolutely amazing. So, goodbye everybody, and it's been fun talking to you.
The tangents and squee continue all the way to episode number 33 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Gallifrey One, there's more to it than John Barrowman's genitals. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Mich in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we are very ish this week. Very-ish.
Very-ish.
I'm not used to being the second person go
Yeah.
with the
in the intro, yeah.
I had to make sure that I really was going first this time because I didn't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the three of us tonight.
For now,
And,
maybe.
Brittany
may.
Heard from her in a while.
Yeah. She had thought she'd be free, and she apparently she's not. And if she does get free, she'll jump in. And then Holly, unfortunately, came down sick and has no voice at the moment. So,
Yeah,
which is
we
kind
had-
of vital for recording a podcast.
little bit. So, but we're gonna.
Last we heard from Brittany was about 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
So, and that was
That's okay.
saying she had tons of guests over for dinner.
Yep.
So,
She's having a party, and we were invited. No.
Well, it would have been hard to get down to Florida.
That's
so short notice.
true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
But-
We'll let it slide then.
But the show must go on,
Yeah.
and we're here to talk about it, so
Yep.
that's why we are the Five-ish. Sometimes we're five, and sometimes we're ish.
Yeah. The
We plan for these contingencies.
The name works on lots of levels, and this is one big one. So anyway, so we shall carry on. So we'll start with news.
Colin Baker will be a guest at Kansas City Comic-Con this year. KCCC will take place August 7th to 9th. Other guests include Wilson the Volleyball from Castaway, Bigfoot, and Austin St. John from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Because those are the only names I recognize.
I'm amazed they included Wilson the volleyball. Although Salt Lake Comic Con has advertised they have a stand-up TARDIS there, so that's kind of an attraction, and other things too, like the DeLorean and the replica set from Star Trek. So
their guest list at the moment weighs heavily on the artists and like professional cosplayers and comic book artists and authors and designers and stuff as opposed to like celebrity actor type guests. So that may change the closer you get to August, but at the moment, the big names are Austin St. John, who was the
Fan Expo usually says when they have like famous like cars like DeLorean, Batmobile, kind of thing.
Yep, we've had that.
You just never know what's going to draw somebody in.
And they're not till and Kansas City isn't until August, so they may very well announce more between now and then.
Oh yes, for sure.
Shoot, we'll have San Diego before then. So
I saw this and I was like, okay, maybe I need to go to Kansas City Comic Con. I was looking at my calendar and like, I just don't think
Planet Comic Con.
Rachel, how many times do you need to see?
It's like, As sooner, I just don't think I'm going to be able to swing it right now. I'm hoping to go to Time Eddie in October.
He's going to be at, Colin's going to be at Niagara Falls Comic Con in June.
Yeah, that doesn't help me. There'll be a lot of places that I'm not, and that makes me very sad.
What, you've met him twice, haven't you?
Well, no, technically I've met him 3 times, but the first time I cried and almost passed out on him. The second time he spent the entire time telling me not to cry, and the third time I completely lost the ability to talk. So I need to make up for my emotional shortcomings, I guess.
But he's not going to Indianapolis?
And not at the moment, but not it, although the PopCon, they're supposed to start making announcements tomorrow for their convention, which is at the end of June.
Well, yeah.
So into June, there's a possibility that they could potentially get him for that. So I would be very happy if they did. So that's where I saw Sylvester McCoy last year. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility. At the moment, unless Colin comes closer, I'm hoping to go to Time Eddie in October. So, because that's not that far of a drive, and you know, it being a first-time con, I think it'll be on the smaller side, I'm hoping, so it'll be a bit more intimate and easier to forget how to speak again. Oh, we won't rehash that story. Y'all want to hear about my Colin Baker story? Go back and listen to our convention episode.
That was like episode 3 or 4. It was fairly early.
It was really early on. So
yeah.
But I'm sure the guys are going to be very excited about this, right? Because they're like, it's Kansas City, it's right up their alley, and you know the guys from Traveling the Vortex will be there, and it's like, it's Colin Baker.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So go, Colin. I didn't even realize they were making a 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but they are.
I did.
Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men begins production. Well, you would know.
I know. What you trying to say?
Right, so it looks like Disney Men Tell No Tales has begun production in Australia. It will film entirely at Village Roadshow Studios and on locations within Queensland. And the synopsis goes thusly: thrust into an all-new adventure, a down-on-his-luck Captain Jack Sparrow finds the winds of ill fortune blowing even more strongly when deadly ghost pirates led by his old nemesis, the terrifying Captain Salazar, escape from the Devil's Triangle, determined to kill every pirate at sea, including him. Captain Jack's only hope of survival lies in seeking out the legendary Trident of Poseidon, a possessor total control over the seas. I guess. Yeah,
I'm excited. I love the Pirates movie. First of all, Pirates of the Caribbean, my absolute favorite Disney attraction of all time. It's one that I could sit and ride over and over and over and over again and never get tired of it. And I love these movies. Say what you will about the 4th one. Yeah, it was kind of but it was still good because Johnny Depp is like, he was born to play Jack Sparrow. Seriously, he's just absolutely amazing. So, I'm excited. I'm assuming since it's filming now, it's probably going to be due out sometime next year. I don't think Disney. I don't think Disney has announced an actual date. I think they just said 2016.
They would have.
So
they would have announced. We'd have been seeing trailers and stuff. Coming out this year, but 2016.
I would expect. We could probably expect maybe an official date announcement at the D23 Expo later this summer, probably, because that's what they did. Back in whatever year it was, is what they announced the 4th Pirates movie, and they did it by having this giant thing set, piratey ship piece looking thing on stage, and it spun around, and Johnny Depp was in full Captain Jack costume and everything, comes stumbling out, and like the president of Disney was like, yeah, we're making another one, and Captain Jack was like, yeah, so so always a possibility that we'll get more details later this summer. I'm excited. Being the Disney enthusiast that I am. Anyways, moving on. So this is actually a bit more near and dear to my heart, but if fellow Doctor Who fans out there that may have a few dollars to spare, the wonderful folks that own and operate Who North America here in Indianapolis are looking for help. They have experienced a great amount of growth and popularity in the last year or so. Our local newspaper, the Indianapolis Star, did an article on them last summer, I think, about that time, and they're online, so you can purchase your Doctor Who merch. They have Doctor Who, Torchwood. They carry a lot of Big Finish and stuff. Most of it's Doctor Who, although they do carry some other, like Star Trek, a little bit of Star Trek, but it's almost all Doctor Who. They have an online shop, but they actually have a physical store here in Indianapolis. It's out on the west side, out by the airport, and they're only open to the public for you to go in like once a month. You can call and make an appointment and go in and shop, I guess. But they keep themselves only open to the public for physical shopping like once a month. And after this article ran in the Star, I went to one of the open houses, and it was like no problem. There were maybe 10, 50, like 20 people maybe at most the time I was there, and this was a couple weeks before the 50th anniversary. But after this article ran, the next open house they had people lined up waiting for hours to get it, which is a good thing. Wow. They were overwhelmed with the number of people, but it was a good thing. But because they've gotten so much more popular and gotten so much more business, they've grown with their merchandise, and then they also have a museum of Doctor Who merchandise. And oh my goodness, most of this stuff I didn't even know existed. But like if it was a collectible that came out for Doctor Who at some point in the last 50 years, they probably have it on display. I mean, just action figures and decor, and they've got a Doctor Who pinball machine, and it's like so cool. I've got pictures. I'll post pictures on the blog so you guys can see it. But they're needing to expand. The point of this story is they're either needing to expand, and they're wanting to either buy more space where they are, which I actually don't think is available where they are, or they want to build a new space. But either way, they need to move because they're outgrowing the space they're in. So they have a GoFundMe page and also a Kickstarter going. So depending on how you want to donate to the cause, that you can do that with GoFundMe. It's just a donation, and you don't really get anything in return other than warm fuzzies. You do have not prizes, because you're not really winning anything, but
you get
swag.
Rewards. There's things you get.
Yeah, swag for donating, and you can donate as little as $2, and it's a copy of the Who North America story all the way up to I think like the largest thing is for a $250 donation. You get the story of Who North America, an autograph photo of Peter Davison, an autograph photo of Matt Smith and Karen Gillian, an autograph photo of Sylvester McCoy, and a Big Finish poster that's autographed by Nicholas Briggs and Jason High Ellery. So if you want to donate and get something in return, You can go to the Kickstarter if you just want to donate just for the warm fuzzies. You can go to the GoFundMe page. But they need like that so that they can, because the museum that they have now, I mean, it is chock full of stuff, and like it's like if you go to like an antique store or something and you see some of those cases where people have just like shoved them full of stuff and you really can't see what's in it. So
Yeah,
being able to
being able all in the back and you can't tell.
Yeah,
and they do have some cool stuff. There's a couple of pictures on here on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So,
more and more. I just need to go take a visit to Indy.
Yes, you do. So, it's a husband.
there.
Yeah.
North America.
I'm
Rachel's
here.
there.
Yeah.
Even my bosses live there.
Yeah. So there you go. Don't you need to come here for like training or something? You can sleep on my couch.
We do it all over the phone.
Yeah. Convince him you need some face-to-face training, and you can sleep on my couch. Anyway, but it's Keith and Janie. They're a husband and wife team, and that they own and operate Who North America, and they're the nicest people. They always have a large booth at all the conventions here in Indianapolis. You know, they were the ones that got Sylvester McCoy here for PopCon last year, and I don't think they have anything to do with Jenna coming. I think that was more the Comic-Con people, but you know, if they get somebody from Doctor Who for PopCon this year, it'll be courtesy of them, I'm sure. So, but if, like I said, if you're a Who fan or if you've ever ordered anything from them, then you know about them. If you got a few dollars to spare, send them their way. So, but I think they've said that they're gonna do something regardless of whether they reach their funding goals, but this will just help, ease the growing pains more than anything. So there's that.
Definitely go support them if you can.
Yes, support your local businesses, especially when you can get Doctor Who stuff from. I need to go pay them a visit.
Some cool pictures and video here, so at least check out their pages when you get a minute.
Yeah.
So sweet. Well, we'll have to share these on our Facebook page as well, and we can get the boys to do so as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, further on in news, this is going to be a short little one because we just barely found it. Well, they just barely got released today, prior to the Oscars. There are 2 new promos for 2 of our favorite shows that are coming up back again next week. Once Upon a Time, which premieres on March 1st, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which premieres on March 3rd, which is... Did I get that right?
Yeah, it's next week.
Next week, yeah. So next Sunday for Once Upon a Time, and a week from this Tuesday for S.H.I.E.L.D., for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
yep.
Which it still kind of boggles my mind that, March is next week.
Yeah.
Because I've been sitting here I've been sitting in this mindset of it's still hiatus, it's still winter. There are no, Once and S.H.I.E.L.D. are not on, but I'm like, wait a minute, it's almost here.
Yeah.
So it kind of snuck up on me. So both promos. I
got the convention at the end of the week. Kitchener Comic-Con is on the 28th.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, so you got one more thing to go before you get into March, huh?
Yeah.
I got one little. It's just a little. It's like free admission that.
Yeah, I think you talked about that a couple weeks ago.
I remember you talked like a little startup.
Yeah. That's on
first
Saturday.
year thing.
Yeah. So.
Oh, cool. So go to that if you're in the area.
Yep. I think because February is such a short month too, which you wouldn't think it's like, you wouldn't think like 2-3 days would make that much of a difference, but it does.
It really does. Like this, here we are.
Yeah.
But so Once Upon a Time, the promo is promoting Queens of Darkness are there, but then it's got a voiceover of Rumpel talking about how heroes are corruptible, and the only way villains get their happy endings is if they turn the heroes, and Emma is walking through the forest and you see the Queens of Darkness, and it's kind of like, ooh, this is interesting. They're going to try to turn Emma to the dark side, so we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the promo is Skye. She's talking about how S.H.I.E.L.D. found her and took her in, trained her to be an agent, and now she's something else, and all this weird stuff's happening around her, like where she is. She's in one of the labs on the Shield base or the helicarrier or wherever she is, and it's kind of intense and really awesome. So watch those. They're like 30 seconds each, but it's just enough to get you excited for new Once Upon a Time and new Agents of Shield coming up. And I'm like, oh, it's been so long.
I was dancing in my seat,
but it feels.
Yeah. I was dancing in my seat, and Chauncey walked in the room like partway through the Agents of Shield one. And he's like, Inhumans, and then he half joking, half jokingly, and I'm like, well, that's what she is. That's her ability as an Inhuman. She has the ability to create earthquakes. So as far as because I mean, they seem to be sticking to the comic books, and if you read up on Daisy, her real name, that's her, one of her abilities as an Inhuman is to create earthquakes, and that's why you see all in the promos like everything's shaking and everything's falling apart. And my husband was like, well, that'd be handy if I didn't want to, if I woke up, I'm like, I don't want to go to work today, I'm gonna start an earthquake. Like, well, yeah, if you can control
him and destruction and
chaos.
I
was like, well, if you can control it, then yes. But at the moment, Sky could not control it, so it's a bad thing. So.
Yes, control is key for all these things. You can't be a good superhero and not have control of your powers.
Exactly. Just look at Bruce Banner.
As we have seen. Oh yeah, Bruce Banner. Well, he's a special case. Yeah. So anyway, so yes, our lives are getting back together, and it's so weird because it's like I was saying, it's been 3 months, but it seems like it's been so much longer. And it feels, I've been cramming in other new fandoms in the meantime while I've been waiting. Yeah. So I guess that's what it is. Like I got into Librarians and Leverage, and I binge watched Parks and Rec yesterday a little bit.
Yes.
But I'm only into season 2 though, so it's good. That one's gonna be a little slower.
Next Gen. I'm on season 5 of Next Gen.
And how many?
There's 7.
How many seasons in total?
7. Yeah.
7.
Of Next Gen, there's 7. But then there's like DS9 and
Voyager. Yeah.
And the movies.
There's a lot more Star Trek ahead of you.
Yes. There's you have no shortage of material to get through.
Yeah.
So. I still need to get caught up on Arrow.
Yeah. I think our doing Marvel with Friends has helped pass the time as well, because we did Captain America last night, and we're doing finally to the Avengers in 2 weeks. I'm so excited.
Yay! And I was actually there for Captain America last night. Finally made it back. Although and thank you Keith was there tweeting along, and Sarah was there in spirit.
Yeah.
She was there as Keith told us. So thank you for joining in, and everybody else who was with us and who didn't tweet along or whatever, but we're just watching it anyway. I'm sure there were others. And one thing, I'm going to go on a little tangent here. One thing kind of toward the end, I got thinking, I was like, what would be fun is if we had just a little short mini series or even a one shot of Howard's life between the end of Captain America and when he meets Tony's mom. Because I'm really curious about Tony's mom all of a sudden.
Which actually,
I don't know why.
Technically, it would be a short in between the end of Agent Carter and where he meets Tony's mom. So,
because I was trying to do the math of when Tony would have been born.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it's not an exact science and timelines are kind of fluid, but I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, she would have had to have been a rare woman to get Howard Stark to settle down.
Considering he's much older in the movies in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
He's older, he's got gray hair, and he's also like a foot and a half taller too, but we're going to ignore that. But the one video, and Tony's probably like 6 or something, and Howard's significantly older, so I'd imagine Howard was probably in his 40s by the time Tony was born. Mm-hmm. So, we could assume here in Captain America and Agent Carter that Howard's like, mid to late 20s probably.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I was thinking. But anyway, that was just me thinking out loud.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
So. Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Why the heck not? You know.
Yeah. We've all got Marvel on the brain.
We've all got headcanons we want to see from everything.
That too.
So.
But Marvel
more
is
than they're capable of doing, even for Marvel. So.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Have to fanfic it, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just put the Avengers on hold because there's like a bunch of holds on it on at my library. So
I bet people are just gonna be like, oh, I'll just watch Avengers because this is Avengers 2, and it's like, sure.
Yeah.
If that's how you want to do it.
15 holds on 5 copies. 16 with the one I just put on.
Oh, good Lord.
So I might end up having to maybe rent it from iTunes like I did with Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Netflix just take it off?
Yeah, it did.
I thought it was on Netflix, but then they took it out.
It took it off at the end of January. So it was one of those ones that got dropped right after the New Year. So, but I have it. So that one for a while because that's my absolute favorite Marvel movie. So I can watch the Avengers over and over and over.
I have Captain America. My rent of it expires in 23 hours.
Just enough time to watch it again.
I can watch it again
if you want.
But later, we still need to work. We need to finish the show.
Yes,
you have 48 hours.
We got more show to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
all right,
I also got the movie we're supposed to be watching for Traveling the Vortex, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. I got that. I haven't started watching my rental, so I got 29 days, so I can start so I can watch it next week.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's it for news.
Feedback.
We actually have feedback, kind of. It was.
It's kind of a little sideways, but it's a warm fuzzy, and warm fuzzies are good. So,
yes.
Well, I alluded to earlier, I have a new job, but I'm still working at the library, very part-time. It's more or less a way to get a little extra income, keep my toe in the library, and still do things there, and just to get me out of the house because I work from home now. So this week I picked up a late night shift at I'll go ahead and say it's the Hunter Library, which is out in West Valley City, which is on the west side of Salt Lake Valley. Not that means a lot to a lot of you people, but if you're local, you know. So I was there at the reference desk, and I had a bunch of about early 20s. I don't want to call them kids, but in my mind they're kids. But you know, they were there at the library. One of these girls, she was new in town, and we just ended up geeking out over just random stuff, like about Once Upon a Time, and Arrow, and the Flash. And I remembered that I had some Fiveish Fangirl business cards with me in my purse. So they wandered off to do something else, and I ran back to my locker where I kept my purse and got my business cards out, and I found the kids again, and I said, hey, do you guys listen to podcasts? And they're like, sometimes. Like, here, I'm on a podcast, you might enjoy this, because we talked all about, you know, Comic-Con and all these different stuff. Like, if it's, you know, this might be something that's up your alley, trying to do a little promotion. And one of the girls, and I told her I'd give her a shout out, and her name is Paige, so hello, Paige, from all of us here at the Fiveish Fangirls, 3 of us this week, but anyway, so
Sorry,
I handed
Paige.
the card, and she's like, I know this podcast, and I'm like, seriously? She's like, yeah, I just found this on iTunes, and I guess she had been searching for the Hello Sweetie podcast, which is another podcast that is local to Salt Lake, or there's somebody from Salt Lake that's on it. I don't know if they're all here, but I know at least one of them is, and we were and Fiveish Fangirls was recommended for people who, you know, you have that little thing. If you like this, then you might like this too. And
which that was cool in itself.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. And Paige was like, what caught her attention was the fact we have ish in our title, And she's like, I say ish all the time, and there's someone else that says it. And so she started listening to us, and I was like, well, you know where our name comes from? And she's like, I think so, but, tell me. So I explained to her, the Fiveish doctors, and it was a Doctor Who reference, kind of obscure, but sort of that. She's like, I knew it. So she knows Doctor Who. So she got the reference, so I was even more like, yes! So anyway, and so she said that she loves us, and that she told her boyfriend and all her friends about us, and that we're doing awesome. And I am still really giddy about finding a listener out in the wild. Because I'm like, because you don't really feel like. I mean, we do this every week, and we post it online. And like, I've blogged for a long time, like on my personal little blog, but I never really got any comments or any feedback or anything. I just like, oh, I'm just doing this for me. And, I kind of feel like even if it was just us doing this for us, we would probably still do it just because it's fun. And it's an excuse for us to get together and talk and squee. And I mean, I'm speaking for me. I don't know if you ladies feel the same way, probably.
You get a squee buildup and you have to let it loose.
You gotta let it loose, because you go day to day, and you keep a lid on it all the time, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you get excited about things. And so here is our outlet to get excited about all these things. And then you find out that there are people that are not your mom.
Yeah.
Which I don't think my mom listens.
Well, mine doesn't either.
That listen. Yeah, that listen, and they like what you do, and they're total strangers up until you start talking to them, and you realize, hey, you're a fangirl too. We're both fangirls. We should fangirl together.
Yep.
So it was fun. It was great to say, wow, someone knows me, knows the podcast and knows what we've been doing, and they like it. And even if she didn't like it, I would still be like, hey, you're listening. That's great.
Yeah.
So, yay for Paige. I'm glad that you're listening. I'm glad you're spreading the fangirl squee. Mm-hmm. And keep listening. And it was really cool to talk to you the other day. I hope I get to go back out there and see you again. It'll probably be a long shot, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, never know.
So after Paige and all her friends left, I got on our little Facebook chat and sent a message to all my lovely co-hosts and said, guess what happened?
We found a listener out in the wild. And it's someone we don't know.
It was awesome. someone I don't know usually.
Yeah.
So not that the people who we do know that listen, we appreciate and love you too, but
oh yeah.
It's just kind of cool. Like, she found us on iTunes.
Yeah. So. And for Paige and her boyfriend and all of her friends, if you are listening, first of all, thank you, and second of all, it was really awesome that Paige found us because it got recommended on iTunes, and I think we mentioned this in the last couple of shows, but if you go on iTunes and leave a review and give us a rating. The more reviews and ratings we get, the more likely we are to pop up and be recommended for other people. So, you could go and tell, everybody about us, and that would be awesome. But for the people that you don't know, iTunes will tell them about us, but it has to, the analytics or algorithm or whatever it is that iTunes uses, stuff is more likely to be recommended if it's been reviewed and rated on iTunes. So if you could take a few minutes to do that would be awesome. But only if you want to. Only if you want to. But keep listening, because it's nice to know people are listening that aren't my husband. Because I know my mom doesn't listen, but I know my husband does.
And we thank him for it.
Yeah. He says he has to keep listening so he knows what he's paying for.
Oh, bless Chauncey. Yeah. Bless him forever.
Yeah. He approved, so we get to stay on the air for another week.
He's our benefactor.
Yes. He's like, can I be? He's like, can I put myself as a producer on my resume now? I'm like, no, not really. As a benefactor, maybe. But producer.
He could be executive producer. Isn't that what those are? I don't know.
Yeah, he could have the title, but he wouldn't have any of the power. No. Anyway, yay, warm fuzzies. People are listening. So yay. Alrighty then. Well, we shall move on to this week's topic. And now that Mitch is back from California, now she's back in the cold. Now she gets to tell us.
Back freezing with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Should I do my reaction to your question earlier?
Oh.
My very excellent reaction. Wait, hang on. I need to stop laughing before I can do this properly.
Yeah. What we know of Gallifrey One is what we learned from Twitter.
Cold here.
Yeah, Mitch had a bit of airplane back in Canada and realized that she was not in Los Angeles anymore. Yeah. I'm sure Shaun and Mel felt the same way too. Get back.
They probably did.
Yeah, they probably looked at each other and say, "Oh, we are in Kansas again." So,
yeah.
no,
So,
but no. Gally, tell us all about it.
Yes. So I got up early Thursday morning so I could take the bus to go to Toronto to get on the plane to go to Galley. So got up like 5 o'clock in the morning, got ready, left the house by 6, took a bus downtown, and then from there took a GO bus, which is it goes between Toronto and the surrounding cities, kind of thing. So that was an hour and a half on that bus.
Oh, good Lord.
Got there, took another bus in Mississauga from the bus terminal to the airport. Got through customs, got on the plane, and then we were taxiing onto the runway when we stopped because apparently there was something wrong with the take a look at it. But fortunately, the pilot told us we were about 40 minutes ahead of schedule by that point. So, because of the route we were taking and other stuff. So we were actually ahead of schedule. So, and we were able to, we stopped for a while they checked it over. They cleared everything. Everything was fine. Took off. 5-6 hour plane ride. I watched Big Hero 6 and the Box Trolls and some classic Who on my laptop. Because Big Hero 6 and Box Trolls was on the plane entertainment system, and then Doctor Who was on my laptop. And then I got in about 1:30ish. Turned airplane mode off on my phone to find out that Shaun and Mel weren't picking me up because they were going to see a movie. So I had to wait for the shuttle. Got to the and it was hot because I was wearing my jeans. So I waited in the hot sun for a while, and then finally got to the hotel. Got checked in, and then went to get my badge for Galley.
Mm-hmm.
went back to the hotel to wait for Shaun and Mel. And then when they got there, we all went back to the Marriott. They went downstairs to get their badges while I hung out in the lobby and stuff. Started handing out ribbons, and then LobbyCon. LobbyCon was great. I handed out like half of my ribbons just on that first night.
Nice.
Like just trading and giving ribbons out, getting them back. And there was an ice cream social in one of the downstairs that I went to with Shaun and Mel, and I cosplayed at LobbyCon as the 11th Doctor, and there was a River cosplayer who gave me chocolates because she said they were kisses and both of her hearts. So two chocolate kisses and 2 heart-shaped chocolates. So cosplaying the 11th Doctor got me chocolate.
Nice.
So, and then Friday. So we went back to the hotel, organized the ribbons we'd gotten, went to bed. Friday, we went up. We had breakfast at Burger King, and then we went to the convention, the Radio Free Scaro panel, with their live recording of their live panel thing. Then we went to the dealer's room to start, to get the autographs we wanted and stuff. I got 5 new pictures signed that are in my photo display room divider thingy. Sophie Aldred, Janet Fielding, Caroline Ford, Dan Starkey, and then one with Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury.
Nice.
That's Saturday.
Didn't you have a panel on Saturday that you were on?
Yeah. So we didn't do many. Where is it? Oh, we went to the early years panel with Derek Sherwin, Caroline Ford, Wendy Padbury, and Fraser Hines.
Yeah.
That was fun. Wendy Padbury told the story of how she discovered Matt Smith.
If you didn't know,
Wendy Padbury discovered
along with being on Doctor Who, Wendy Padbury doubles as an agent.
Yeah, she became an agent at some point after she was an actor. So, and she went at the youth theater and she saw him and became I think she was his agent for a bit, got him his first professional work. And she also told as part of that, told about how at the 50th anniversary specials in 2013, she was asking to see him, and they wouldn't let her, but she finally did get to see her, and he was so happy to see her because she's basically responsible for his career at this point.
Yeah. Well, she better get to see him. Gosh.
Yeah, I was like between being on.
How, once she finally got to see him, he picked her up and spun her around the room. It was so happy to see her, and
that's so Matt.
So Then we went back and recorded our update for that day after everything. The Classic Companions panel, which I went to the Classic Companions panel and I wanted to ask Fraser Hines to do his Pat Troughton impersonation, like because he had the spot on Pat Troughton.
Oh yeah.
But the panel ended before I could, and Sean posted a picture of that, I think, on Facebook. So if you want to go check out the Traveling the Vortex Facebook feed, you can see a picture of me in line, waiting to ask the question, but I didn't get the chance before the panel ended.
Mm.
Then we went to Denny's for supper. I think that was what we did. Yeah. Yes, because we went to Denny's for supper, went back, recorded our update, which you can listen to from the Traveling the Vortex iTunes feed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday, I had my panel. I was on a panel at this year's Gallifrey One. The Gallifrey Gender Bend, which is all about the Time Lords being able to change gender when they regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it was on should the Doctor be played by a woman and stuff. And I brought my, the perspective of someone who is gender fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought that and talked about it from that point of view and stuff. And then I had actually, on Friday, I had bought a couple prints from Christopher Jones, I think Christopher Jones, this one that he did last year for Galley, which is for the fans. It's basically based on Fiveish doctors, and they're with Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Bassett for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And then the compensating for something one with the Sonics.
Oh yeah. Compensating for something.
3 years before the 50th, because the date on it is December 2010.
Nice. He's a genius.
And the thing is, when I was talking to Courtney, to Alice George, and got the bumper that you heard on last week's podcast.
Her accent's so cute. She's
I had those with me, and I put them down, and I left them there, and I realized when I got back to the hotel that I had forgotten them. So I went and I checked, but I looked all through the rest, but by that time the dealer's room was closed. So after my panel, I went back to the dealer's room, and I looked all around, and I found them. I got them back. And after that, I went to the Inspector Spacetime reading for the movie. And that was just... because I actually didn't miss much, because I got back into the program room just as they got to the part where the prequel that they've already released a prequel, and they just got to the part where that was to the end of that when I got in, so I was able to hear the whole movie script, and it sounds amazing.
Now in Inspector Spacetime, that's a thing from
Community.
From Community, right?
Community,
So, and I don't watch Community, so, but I've heard it mentioned a few other places that it's a.
Yeah,
it's basically it's a Doctor Who stand-in because one of the characters on Community is a big fan of it, and
You're
so
right.
they're like, it was kind of like an in joke in one of the episodes, and now it's just kind of spiraled out from there. It's this really big thing. So it's a spin-off from a show that was spoofing another show.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how this all came about.
Yeah. So I got to go to that, and back to the schedule.
Now, when you said you left when you left those pictures at Ellis George's table, like she found them and
yeah, she realized that she there was when I got them back, there was a note on them that said left by a fan accidentally.
Nice.
So I saw them because she had a table that was behind her with stuff on it, and I looked over and I saw it on the table. I'm like, I think those are mine, and she gave them back to me, and yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Gold star to Courtney Woods.
Yeah. Only at Galley could such a thing happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that happened.
I remember I left my water bottle at Matthew Waterhouse's table, and he gave that back to me.
You need to quit leaving stuff places, girl.
I think she's doing it on purpose.
I know, I do, but
I know Galley is a lot to process. Shoot, I
put stuff down
left my head somewhere.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always constantly checking. Do I have everything? Because there's just so much. Your head spins.
Bag of. There was this one table for another convention where you could get ribbons, and they had like this game where they give you the first ribbon, and then you have to take pictures of other people with that ribbon.
Oh.
And then bring them back and show the pictures, and then you get the next one. And I think I talked about this on one of the updates.
Mm-hmm.
So I got all the ribbons for that. But when I was getting the first lot of ribbons on the Saturday night, I put down a bag of stuff I'd bought in the dealer's room and forgot about it. Luckily, I was able to go back, and it was still there. And I got it back. So, and then
so moral of the story, people at Galley are very honest.
Yeah. So, then we went to Subway for supper, and then we went back I went back to watch The Masquerade, and we hung out at the pool at the Marriott, and there was a cocktail party on the Orient Express saloon car thing going on at the
I like that title. That was good. The name of it.
Well, apparently they have like this sort of little party where you can go in, get, and if you're old enough, they have alcoholic beverages you can get for free. So I went to that for a bit, had a drink, decided it wasn't really my scene, went back to the hotel. And then Sunday, because Alex Kingston canceled, John Barrowman was moved back to noon, but I lined up early anyway, because I wanted to get good seats. And then they let us in at 10. And then we watched Last Christmas, which wasn't scheduled. They just figured if we're all waiting in line for the Mummy on the Orient Express live commentary and John Barrowman, that they may as well just let us in and put on an episode. And so we watched that, and then they had me on the Orient Express live commentary with the writer, who told us all sorts of things about the process of how, like, this stage, like, how that went through. And apparently, in one of the earlier drafts, the anachronisms on the Orient Express was supposed to be like a funny scene, but then he got told about what happened with Kill the Moon and how Clara and the Doctor were kind of not on good terms. So he had to work that in, so he toned it down. Yeah. And actually, the singer was in that version, before he had to tone down the funny, was supposed to be singing Umbrella by Rihanna.
No.
So,
okay.
It was, and the bit about how the jelly babies in the cigarette case were Peter Capaldi's idea, because that was talked about on the Radio Free Star Live panel, but he brought it up again.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was, and there's a lot of stuff that changed about the Mummy, stuff that and having to write Clara into that car because it was supposed to be a companion light episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he also wrote the other side of it, the Dr. Light flatline, so he had to rewrite both of those.
So he had to do it both.
Minimize, and they were double banked, so he was able to go from one to the other. And he's like, yeah, he would go and he would watch the film online. He's like, yeah, just go check out my other episodes.
Yeah, I think, I just want to, I think the double banking, or with the Dr. Light thing with Flatline worked a little better because the Doctor was in the TARDIS and you just kind of assumed that he was there. The thing with Clara getting locked in the...
Well, because he said about having to write the Doctor out about how it was originally going to be both of them investigating, but then he got told that the Doctor had to be not in it so much, so he took an idea he already had, which was the shrinking, in the script, which was the shrinking TARDIS, and just took it that little bit further. So it was like
that lent itself well.
So the tiny TARDIS is because the Doctor had to not be in it so much because of the double banking.
Yeah.
So, and then John Barrowman.
The headliner.
Yeah, basically. And you know how John Barrowman posts all those photos and videos, like those wacky photos and videos, and like we all know how John Barrowman is.
Oh, we all know how John Barrowman is.
Oh yes.
Whenever I see one of those, I'm always like, Scott knew what he was getting into when he married John, right?
Oh yeah.
Go to this, and I'm sitting in this John Barrowman panel, and I find out Scott's just as bad as John.
There's a reason those two are together.
Yeah.
Oh, John.
Scott has his pilot's license, and one day he was flying his plane, and he called John while he was in the air and telling it's like a fireworks display up here because of all these meth labs exploding. It's like, and John's like, hang up the phone. Scott's like, okay, I'll take pictures. No.
How to give your husband a heart attack in 2 seconds. Oh, my goodness. Those two deserve each other.
Well, that was my highlight from the John Barrowman panel. Like, all the other stuff was, yeah.
That's because all the other highlights that include John Barrowman are before Barrowman arrived. While you were in the, I'm sure you probably heard, us maybe mention a little bit last week, but, while you were in the Classic Companions panel, the panel going on with Eve Miles was happening at the same time, and I was watching my Twitter feed, and all I see is 50 Shades of Gallifrey, and Eve Miles talking about how John Barrowman always had his pants open and displaying himself on set. Oh my God. I'm guessing the Classic Companions panel was a bit more classy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure 50 Shades of Gallifrey was trending at one point on Twitter. So. All the stories you hear about John Barrowman are true. They're all true. Anyway, sorry.
It's not exaggerated. We're not making this up. It's how he really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how Mitch has seen it for her own 2 eyes. First-hand experience.
Well, this is my second time at a John Barrow. This was my second time at a John Barrowman panel because I saw him at Fan Expo 2012.
Mm.
So,
So it wasn't a surprise.
no.
That's probably a good thing.
I also saw caught part of Vern Gorman's panel just before it was before the Classic Companions panel, and he talked about how whilst filming Countryside, which was a season 1 Torchwood episode, he got put in the bridal suite of the hotel that they were staying in, and there was like this big brass bathtub that he got accused of trying to steal, but he didn't. Because apparently Eve Miles was spreading the story that he tried to steal this bathtub, but it was absolutely not true. But it's apparently I don't know. It was like this big, heavy brass, claw-footed tub, and somehow got moved, I think. And so he got accused of trying to steal it.
The stories I hear from the Torchwood cast of all the shenanigans they get up to, I'm like, no wonder this show was the way it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. So,
So how was the masquerade? How are the costumes this year?
It was good. It was good. Some things I liked better than others, but hey, that's the way things are.
Yep. Yeah.
Were there a few, like, what were some of your favorites, or was there anything that stood out to you?
Well, there was one lady dressed as Queen Elizabeth that had this audio track of like a Queen's words win wars, and it was like this whole speech that I think is based on a real Queen Elizabeth I speech, but tailored to Doctor Who.
Nice.
That was really cool. Nope. But yeah, that was fun.
There are some cons that they do like the cosplay or whatever, and they're like the way they do the contests are different. Sometimes it's just, like beauty pageant where you just walk up and you show off your costume, and then that's it. And then others, they allow them to do like real short sketches or other stuff.
Gallifrey One has a mixture of, like, some people choose not to do a skit, but some people do, and the skits are always, it's interesting what they do.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I sat in for at least part of the Darkwater live commentary, which was interesting. I went to the 26 Classic Seasons, where I was finally able to get Fraser Hines to do the Pat Trown impression. And mine was the last question, so that
nice.
Yeah.
That's always when at the cons when they're doing the Q&A and they're like, last question, and almost always whoever's being the MC, they're like, better make it a good one.
Oh yeah.
No pressure.
And all the people at the end of that are toward the back.
I told him about that I had wanted to ask him on the Friday, and I wasn't able to because the panel ended, and then I asked, and I said, like, I know from listening to Destiny of the Doctor that you can do an absolutely spot-on Pat Trown impression. Would you mind doing that for us now? And they got him to stand up center stage, and he said he usually does it by telling this story from when they were filming The Two Doctors about how Jamie's usual line is, look at the size of that doctor, saying, yes, it is a big one. So, because by saying, look at the size of that thing, he was deviating from the script, which was, look at the size of that space station.
Yeah.
But then Pat Trown spoke up about how this is how it happened back in the 60s when we were, how we would do it back in the 60s when we would see something big.
Yeah.
So,
now I need to go watch The Two Doctors again.
And then, previously on Doctor Who panel, which was fun, so it was talking about, like, people who had been on Doctor Who in the past, so, like, Dan Starkey and stuff, Nick Briggs and Alice George, and so they were talking about their time on Doctor Who. And then when they had the year in review media thing, which was so cool. It's really awesome to be able to see that and all the media stuff going on that went on in the UK for the past year. And they had the awards won by, like, Doctor Who and by the actors, like the nominations and stuff at the National Television Awards, I think it was. And I commented to Shaun about how David Tennant's award will probably be in next year's year.
Probably.
So, Yeah. And closing ceremonies. And I gave out I got traded the last of my ribbons at closing ceremonies. And afterwards. So I got over 200 ribbons.
Wow.
I collected over 200 ribbons. Most of them are in a little plastic baggie because I haven't put them on my thing yet. And yeah. And afterwards in the lobby, I got to talk to Travis Ritchie! And,
Yay!
Travis Ritchie, if you don't know, is Inspector Spacetime.
Yeah.
He's the lead actor. So I was charging my phone in the lobby, and then I went to the bathroom, asked someone to watch my stuff, and on the way to the bathroom, I saw Travis Ritchie talking to some people. I'm like, if he's still there when I get out of the bathroom, I'm going to see if I can go talk to him. Yeah. So he was, and I waited while he was talking to someone else, and then I told him about going to the reading on Saturday and how I had to leave to go find my prints, and then came back just in time for the end of the prequel. And he told me that what I missed was them explaining what Inspector Spacetime was to people who had never heard of it, or who weren't familiar with what they were doing with the first season and now the movie and stuff. So I'm familiar with all that, so I didn't really miss anything.
But still.
And I told him that I thought the movie sounded amazing, and I was looking forward to actually seeing the finished product. And yeah, so yeah, so I've been holding that squee in all week.
It seems like that now this I may be, because I've only
when I was done,
yeah.
I went back and squeed to the person who was watching my stuff, and then I went over and I squeed to Shaun, and he said that he saw me talking to him and would have taken a picture, but he was talking to someone else at the time, so he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
But
it seems like the stories I hear from Galley that, I ran into so-and-so in the elevator, I saw so-and-so on my way to the bathroom, and, I said a real hello, or quick hello or whatever, and, or chatted with him a few minutes, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, because, when I went to Chicago TARDIS, I went to the newbie, panel that they had the first thing on the first day, and they told us on no uncertain terms, if you saw somebody in the hallway, you do not talk to them. You can say a quick hello, and that's it, but do not engage them. Don't don't try and carry on a conversation with them. Don't take a picture. Don't try and sneak a picture. I'm like, okay, this is no fun, but it wasn't that big a deal, because I was so busy jumping from panel to panel and room to room, I didn't really see anybody anyway, except what's her face? I'm blanking on her name again, that played Mel's in Let's Kill Hitler.
Nina Toussaint White.
Yeah, Nina. When she was getting on the floor and getting a picture with the turtle, I got a short video of her doing that, and then I saw Louise Jameson walking down the hallway at one point. But she was so far away, I would have had to run to try and catch up with her. So I didn't really see a lot of people in the hallway to begin with, but it just seemed kind of a turnoff that you're all don't
Galley is so much more
like an art gallery or something.
Atmosphere. It's you can talk to people in the lobby, and
it's just a big party, really.
Yeah.
Because when I went, the first night I went, I was there at LobbyCon, and I got there before Shaun and Mel. I was the only one I didn't know anybody there until Shaun and Mel got there.
Yeah.
And I just started talking to people, and I was just kind of wandering around. I ended up going to Champion's Bar, and I saw Nicholas Briggs, like, having dinner, and I was like, I met up with these two ladies that we just started talking. She's like, and they'd been there for a while. And like, you should go up and talk to Nick Briggs and like ask him for a picture. I'm like, is that allowed? Like, is that okay? And they're like, yeah, totally. So I went up to him and just talked to him, and I got a picture with him, and he was super, super cool, just a super awesome, chill guy. And because this was my first convention of any kind, and I was just like, hi, and he was just like, yeah, sure, and and I was like, I love Big Finish, I love the Daleks. He's like, oh, that's awesome, and shook my hand, gave me a hug, and I was like, I just got a hug from Nick Briggs in the middle of him having dinner. And he was like totally cool about it. And I love that. And
see, that's awesome.
That's what I miss about Gallifrey. I was like, I want to go back, but it's so hard to get there now.
I need to go to Galley. So it's
like,
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to be able to. I don't think I'm going to be able to go back next year unless I win the lottery between now and when tickets go on sale May 1st.
Yeah.
Which is like, what, 2 months, 3 months? Well, about 2 months by now. 2 months and a bit. Yeah. Ain't happening.
Yeah.
Much as I may wish it, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so overall, you had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds like it.
I don't see how you can go to Gallifrey and not have a good time unless something really, really terrible happens. Once you're there, getting there is kind of a chore.
Sunday night. We didn't record an update on Sunday night because Shaun and Mel were hanging out at the Marriott with some people, and I stayed at the hotel and I went to bed because it was like,
I bet.
I was tired, so I fell asleep probably around 10. And I was like thinking I'd just like nap and like maybe get up when Shaun and Mel got back, and then we could record the last update. But I slept through till the morning, and then they told me they didn't get in till like 12:30 and went straight to bed. So because when I
party animals
woke up in the morning, I thought maybe they'd recorded the update without me, but they're like, no, we just got laid. Went to bed. Yeah. So.
Because it's like non-stop for like 3 days, isn't it?
Well, what happens is like on the Sunday night after closing ceremonies, everybody just tries to hold on to like they're all in denial, like, no, we can't go back. We're gonna stay up as late as we can. And even in Monday morning, there's still lobby talk going on.
We're gonna talk in the lobby tonight.
Yep, and even on Monday morning when I went, even on the Monday morning when I went down to the lobby and I was like, okay, I really got to leave because I got to go catch my flight back home. But I was like, Shaun and Mel didn't have to leave till later. They were going later, and I was like, I don't want to go. And I said
10th Doctor, I don't want to go.
5 times, I swear.
Yeah. So.
And even at the airport, I ran into a few galley people, and we were still talking.
Yeah. So, Monday morning, got up, packed, and then checked out of the hotel, said goodbye to Shaun and Mel, got the shuttle back to the airport. And then once I was through customs, I called my dad to let him know that I had gone through and I was waiting for my flight, and then I asked him if he would pick me up in Toronto because I hadn't up till that point, and he said yeah, and waited in there's this Maple Leaf lounge that people flying on Air Canada can pay a little bit extra, and I guess there's food and drinks and stuff, and Wi-Fi, complimentary Wi-Fi and stuff. So I before I went out, flew out, and so I got to go in there, and I had some food, had a little breakfast, some stuff to drink, filled up my water bottle because you can get water, so filled up my water bottle so I would have it on the plane. Did some, and then just waited until they announced that my flight was boarding. Then I went down and boarded the plane. And
went home.
Yeah. Went home.
Worst part of the trip, the going home.
Yeah. I wanted to watch because I had some DVDs and stuff, and I wanted to watch it, but I had to buy. I have a separate DVD player because Apple MacBooks don't come with DVD players. You have to buy it separate. So I was looking through my backpack that I took on the plane, and it turns out I hadn't packed the DVD player in my backpack. And I had a little bit of panic, did I leave it at the hotel? Oh my god, I hope not. And turns out I didn't. It was in my suitcase, but I wasn't able to watch my DVDs because I didn't have it with me. So I read from the new Mad Norwegian Press book companion piece. So I was reading paging through that, reading some of the essays, and on the in-flight entertainment system, you can have it. There's a directional indicator where you can pick cities, and it will tell you where they are in relation relative to where you are, where the plane is, and how what direction, how far away. So I picked Topeka just to see, and when I pulled that up on my thing, it was just over 100 miles away from where, 100 miles south of where I was.
Dear Vortex boys, I'm over
for the last little bit of the flight, I was alternating between reading essays and companion piece and watching Topeka get further and further away.
Dear Vortex boys, I was on top of you. Several thousand feet in the air.
We were going north of Topeka.
Yeah.
35,000 feet up.
Yeah. I was near you. I was about 30,000 feet above you.
Near-ish you.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of, not really, but we'll take it. I've been in your airspace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, bye.
You're waving as you fly over.
Someday I'll be able to get closer than that.
Yes. We all think that.
That would be nice.
We need to have a vortex con in Topeka or something. Just our little group of friends or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then when I got back, Pearson has this cell phone parking lot where people who are waiting for people who are flying in can wait until they get a cell phone call.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes. So my dad waited in there, and then I called him once I was through, once I was through security and had gotten my bag and stuff and was waiting at the door, and then he came and picked me up, and we went home, and
the trip was over.
The trip is over.
And now she's sad. And we're sad for her.
I know. Because it was so much fun.
And even for us pathetic stuff, homers are like, we're all like experiencing it vicariously through like Twitter and Facebook and everything else, and it almost feels in some ways, and especially since they've made a few changes, in some ways I'm kind of like, you know what, I think I'd rather, that this may sound sacrilegious because I have been to Galley, I loved it, and I love going there, but I almost rather stay home and watch it all happen. It's kind of become Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because of all these changes like this. They just announced that they're not going to do transfers anymore, which now I look at that and I'm like, well, then I'm never going to get to go to Galley because the tickets are gone. Last year they were gone in like 90 minutes. I fully expect that to be cut down even further this year. Mm-hmm. Less than an hour, I'll bet.
Yep.
So transfers were always going to be my best bet for a repeat.
Shaun Line was explaining that it was because people were booking hotel rooms without having gotten tickets. So they were trying to cut down on that. And I was like, what about the people who have like last minute like emergencies where they can't make it, and what are they supposed to do with their tickets? Like, because you with your car trouble last year.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do if you get a ticket and you ultimately can't make it? Like,
yeah, because if you can transfer, but only if you're there on site to do it. Though there's no more online transfers, and it's just sort of like, because I would feel, because my thing was, it's not so much that I would be missing out the money, because I actually lost more money on my airplane ticket than I did the galley ticket, but I would, where they cap it, I would rather be able to give sell my ticket to someone who can go and give them a chance to go, because I mean, if I didn't use it, I would be taking that away from someone else.
If that happens to enough people and they have like a much lower turnout because people weren't able to transfer because of emergencies.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll rethink that.
Yeah, because I could just
find a compromise.
Because like we were talking about that before we started recording. I said to Chrissy, I said, they've only allowed transfers in person now. If you're able to show up and do the transfer, you should be able to go to the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems kind of.
Well, you know what? Let's see how this goes.
I heard they didn't even do it at the door this year. Like, once the transfers were closed, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. They've got a few things to iron out here, but kind of where I'm standing, Gallifrey One has become the San Diego Comic-Con of Doctor Who conventions, where it's, and I don't want where it's really hard to get in. It's once you're there, I'm not talking about the atmosphere.
Amazing.
Once you're there, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's fun, and it's so cool and so just wonderful. Getting there is a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly because there are so few tickets and they go so fast, and like you and I fully expect they will be gone in just as much time, if not less, than they were last year, which is fine. I'm not planning on going next year. I mean, there's part of me that would like to try to go to Chicago TARDIS or LI Who or one of these others.
Go to Time Eddie. Go to Time Eddie.
Or go to Time Eddie. Where I kind
Nebraska,
of feel like
Utah.
I mean, yeah. I just lost my train of thought.
No, sorry.
But no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm kind of
conventions.
Anyway. But yeah. But the other thing is, like, Gallifrey is so close to me. Like my when I went, my flight was less than 2 hours. And when you factor in the time difference, I lost an hour basically in the air, and it was just perfect for me. Whereas, and it's right at the airport, and I'm really not a big traveler, so like when I go to cities that I'm not familiar with, I don't like to drive in them very much. So like having Galley at the LAX Marriott was like perfect. Just jump on the shuttle from the airport. I don't have to drive. And I don't know how the others are with that, but yeah. So anyway, it's not a dig at Galley.
What I like about Galley is that it is so far from me, because then I have the nice warm weekend in California.
Yeah.
Where
in the middle of February.
Chicago TARDIS and LI-Who, they're in my neck of the woods. I would not get that.
Yeah. And they're both in November.
Yeah, they're in November in my neck of the woods. I'm not going to get any relief from the cold going to either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with me, I mean, Salt Lake City, you get bitter cold winters, except for this year, but we won't go into that. And like the year I went, it was probably one of the heaviest, coldest winters on record for a long time. And I was just like, and then I landed in Southern California, and I'm like, this is paradise. I was like, I could never live here because, gas is $4 a gallon. But for a weekend, it's a nice place to visit. And I got to see, well, meet Shaun and Glenn and Mel in person, and that was like so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was part of the draw. And it was funny because most of the time we're inside the hotel, we're not even enjoying the nice weather. Unless we're walking
when you are
walking to dinner.
When you are outside and enjoying the weather, it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. It was so wonderful. So yeah, I mean, Galley is wonderful, amazing.
I haven't stayed at the Marriott either of the times I've been to Galley, so I've had the walk weather.
That's true. I actually did get to stay in the Marriott that year. And even at the time, I was like,
if I ever do go back to Galley, that I'll be able to get a room at the Marriott, so I can enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being able to just
take the elevator up.
Take the elevator, so I can change, if I'm cosplaying, I can just change in and out of whatever cosplaying.
Yeah, that was
or solve my problem of forgetting things at Galley by taking them straight up to my room.
And that was the most perfect thing ever, because when I was there, and there was one day that I didn't cosplay in the morning, but then I changed my mind. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. So I ran up to my room, which was just up the elevator, change, come back down, and I was there. Yeah. And honestly, that year that I got the hotel room and everything just clicked right into place, and I'm like, this is never going to happen again.
Yeah.
I guarantee it, because things like that just don't happen twice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of taking my Galley experience.
I missed the hotel block going on sale both years.
Yeah.
I missed the hotel block going on sale both years, and first year I was able to pick up later when the Renaissance hotel block went back on sale. Or not that it went back on sale. It's that people transferring their tickets gave up their hotel rooms or something. But I was able to get a room at the Renaissance at the Galley rate. And then this year I was at 4 Points, which is right next door, and pretty decent rate. And then Shaun and Mel roomed with me, so that split the cost. So that was nice.
Oh, I bet that was helpful.
So I paid for the room, but they gave me their half in cash, so I could spend it in the dealer's room.
Mm. Yeah, so those hotels around there, they're some pretty pricey places
and
to
I
stay.
was able to pick up the next, seasons 2 and 3 of the Gallifrey audios, so I'm looking forward to listening to those when I have a spare.
Yay, more Big Finish.
More Big Finish!
Which I guess we should have included that in the news list. I forgot. But there's, Kate Stewart is going to be in a new Unit series.
Oh, yeah.
Gemma Redgrave is actually going to be in Big Finish. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, but it kind of got lost in the shuffle of galley insanity. So
Yeah.
But
well, it seems like Big Finish is announcing something like every day too. So,
yeah, Big Finish has got all kinds of stuff coming up.
Go like their Facebook page, and you can catch it all there.
Yeah.
As a side note. Yeah.
So anyway, so there's a little bit of well, not even breaking news. Yeah. It's been out there for a week or so. We just kind of missed it.
Yeah.
Because of Gallifrey. Yeah. But yeah, so, if you can manage to go to Gallifrey.
Seasons 2, now I got seasons 2 and 3, but there's 7 seasons of Gallifrey out, so I'm way behind on that.
Oh, so am I. I'm only partway through season 2.
And I'm opening up one of the discs, and I realized I'm starting on the wrong end. I'll just open the first one, and I'm like, no, this is 3.5.
Other way.
We're all going to get open at some point.
I know, but I may as well finish opening this one now.
Might as well. It's like Christmas when you get a set of things and they wrap them
wrong
individually, and you're like, well.
Oh my.
Oh boy. So anyway, yeah, people out there listening, if you can manage to get to Gallifrey, you're gonna have the time of your freaking life, and it is a blast. The logistics of getting to Gallifrey are a little more sticky, but if you can do it, if you can pull it off, it is one of the best experiences you will ever have. As as a Doctor Who fan, as if you go to conventions, it's just fun. It really, really is. And I think, and I will say, just going off of my experience, it does make all the headaches and hassle worth it getting there.
Yeah,
it's just you have to endure a lot of headaches and hassles to get there.
Where I forgot things that I meant to bring, and there's all this hassle, and then I get there and I just have the experience, and I'm like, this is worth every problem that I had coming here. Yeah. Every little problem. And it's like, this is
like, what issues? I don't have any issues.
What issues?
Which I guess is true of any trip you take, because there's always a lot of
where it's meant to be.
Yep. It's where it's home.
Yeah, Mecca.
2-minute Time Lord is fond of saying that, and you know what? I tend to agree with him. Yep. Oh yeah, I thought that myself, that Galley One is the Whovian Mecca.
I believe it. It's on my bucket list to go to Galley.
Yeah, see, the thing is, a few years, 3 years back, I've been thinking that I put Gallifrey One on my bucket list. I gotta get there someday. And then I listened to the reports from 3 years ago of Gallifrey, when Chrissy went, Chrissy and Shaun and Mel and Glenn and everyone, and I'm like, okay, someday is next year.
Yeah.
I'm deciding right now, someday is next year. And I did it, and I went, and it was, and then I had
and you got to go twice. Yeah, and that was for me too, because I listened to Shaun and Mel talk about their experiences and see what they did, and I was like, I'm going next year, and it was the anniversary year, and I'm like, you know what, I really ought to just do it, because if I just talk about doing it and never actually do it, I'm never gonna do it. And I had a friend of mine that year, her mom passed away. And I was talking to her at just kind of in the days following that happened, and she said something to me. She says if there's something you want to do, and the only thing, and you're like worried about, oh, I don't have time, I don't have money, blah blah blah, making all these excuses. Two is like you're just always gonna make excuses and never do it. So you might as well just do it, whatever it is that you want to do. And as silly as that sounds, considering she'd lost her mother, in that moment I was like, I want to go to Gallifrey, and there were still tickets available. It was probably like a month or so after Galley, and I was like, I want to go to Gallifrey, and I thought about it. I sorted out my finances, and I'm like, what? I think I can do this, so I did it, and it was a lot of fun. So, like I said, it's worth going. They do a really good convention. It's so different than anything else you're probably ever gonna see anywhere else, other than Chicago TARDIS or LI Who or Time Eddie or any of those other small fan-run conventions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it is the big deal in Doctor Who fandom, and it is very well run. It's just there's a lot you got to go through to get there, and it is worth it. It is worth it to get there.
It is all worth it.
And if new people get to go and experience it, I'm okay with missing out.
Yeah,
because I like seeing quote like sitting in on two panels.
The finances thing was my big issue. Like this year cost me so much, like in terms of plane ticket and hotel. I'm like, I just need to not go for at least a year, maybe more. Just save my money, sort out my finances. And maybe someday I'll be able to go back.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun to watch it from home. And there were times like I was on Twitter and I could follow more than one panel at once because they were on the Galley hashtag.
What Brittany,
you just had to remember,
Brittany said.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, Brittany was saying the same thing. Like she was following.
Like you could attend two panels at once. Yeah.
Yeah, which is more than you can if you actually.
So that might be a fun experience next year if I can't, like, not being able to go with it. It'll be fun to like watch it from home and go to two panels at once.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of like a holiday, a Whovian holiday unofficially. Like we have Doctor Who Day in November, which is November 23rd, and then we have the weekend of Gallifrey, in which like all of Doctor Who fandom just stops, and we focus on what's going on in Los Angeles. Like even the official Doctor Who Tumblr reblogged a bunch of stuff from Gallifrey, which was so funny. Like, and it was stuff that people had posted on their Tumblr, and they were reposting it and even saying, "Hey, Gallifrey One is going this weekend," and I think they linked to the website or something. Like, for people to find out what Gallifrey One is and everything. So it's just like, it's almost, it's about as official as it can be and still be unofficial, if that makes sense.
Pretty much.
Because it is so very recognized by the powers that be that run Doctor Who. Like, Stephen Moffat's been there before he became showrunner, but he was there. I can't remember what year he was there, but it was after the new series had started. So I want to say like 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. He went there as a guest, and obviously he hasn't been back since because he's been a little bit busy. But
a little bit.
But yeah. So, So cool. Gallifrey One is highly recommended. If you can get there, if you can manage it, do it.
Yeah.
Cool. And of course, we'll get, if you want to hear more, Shaun and Mel will have their galley report on this week's Traveling the Vortex. So you can get it from both sides, both perspectives. So, because I know that Shaun and Mel would go do their thing, and you guys weren't like joined at the hip the entire time. So
No, we did go
Yeah,
do some
you find all
panels
kinds
together.
of things to go see.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Mhm.
Anyway, any parting shots before we close out that you wanna? Anyone? We good?
I think so. It's cold here.
You know, it's getting cold here. We've had a really mild winter, but now it just all of a sudden we got some Arctic blast something or other going on, and I'm like not thrilled about it. But yeah, I hear you on the cold. We even got snow this weekend.
Lots of snow.
Ugh. Over it. I am so over it. I'm done with winter. See, this winter even hasn't been that bad, but I'm still done with it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Definitely done with
listeners,
winter.
find us. Yeah. So listeners,
and-
find us at. Oh, go
And
ahead.
new listeners from Galley, who I gave ribbons to, welcome.
Yay! Welcome.
Yes.
And if you are new
Let us know
to
that
listen,
you found this at Galley.
Yeah,
giving you a ribbon at Galley.
we are on, or our website is the Fiveish Fangirls podcast.blogspot.com. We are also on Twitter at Fiveish Fangirls and Facebook. I think it's Fiveish Fangirls there too. But if you go to our website, you find links to everything: Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and to subscribe on iTunes. So do that. And there's also a link to send in feedback, or there's the email that you can do that, or leave us a comment, or wherever you feel like sending in your feedback, please do, because we love hearing from anyone and everyone who listens to us. Or you find us in real life randomly. If you're in any of our cities, come. Well, don't stalk us, because that's just creepy.
Don't stop it. But anyone in
I
Kitchener
was like,
can meet me at Kitchener Comic Con on Saturday. I will be cosplaying the 11th Doctor.
Which I did see pictures of your cosplay, and you look fabulous, by the way.
Thank you.
Very,
Yeah.
very. I liked it.
Sean took lots of pictures, and Mel. And we interviewed.
Yeah, I noticed you had a really nice camera. Yay! So that'll be somewhere. Is that going to be on your Traveling the Vortex?
Traveling the Vortex at some point.
Yep.
Either as a
That's
side
awesome.
or as part of their main. Maybe as part of Sean's Galley report.
Could be. Yeah, when you sent that message that you were doing that, I was like, holy crap!
Yeah, well,
That's gonna be awesome.
Sean and I were sitting in the lobby on like the day before we did the interview, and we were just sitting in like Andrew Carmel was there on the we were sitting on this bench by the restaurant, and Andrew Carmel was just sitting there next to me, and like, whoa, you're okay, and then Sean arranged.
It's you.
Yeah, it's you. It's you. I didn't see you sitting there. And then Sean arranged the interview for after one of his panels. He asked if we could ask to interview him, and Andrew Carmel got out his schedule and okay, where am I? When do I have time? Okay, come after at this time after this panel, and we'll do the interview. And yeah, so
That is awesome.
we went and we did it in the hallway next to the main panel room and the dealer's room. And yeah, so that should be available for Traveling the Vortex soon-ish. I don't know when exactly they're gonna release that, but
just look for it on their feed, and a big thank you to them.
It might be as part of the regular episode, that they just tack it on at the end or something. So yeah, and
we'll see.
And
we got to give a big thank you to them for hosting all the reports and calling this a co-production between them and us. Because, well, it is, because you were there and Shaun was there and Mel was there. But, yeah, they actually have the hosting space for this. So, guys, you're awesome. We love you.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Yes.
Thank you. Cool. Even though they don't listen to our podcast.
They don't listen?
Apparently not. Because,
That's it. They're off my Christmas card list.
Shaun admitted to me that
it's hard to find time to even listen to just one podcast, let alone multiples. I'm very fortunate that I can listen to them at my desk while I'm working. So, in an 8-hour workday, I can go through like 3-4 episodes of a podcast, especially because I'm like backtracking on ones that I just started listening to and have hundreds of episodes to go through to listen to. Even if I'm cherry picking, even if I'm cherry picking, but not everybody has the time to listen, so especially multiple podcasts. So and
it's not like everything we talk about is in their wheelhouse either.
That's true too.
Yeah.
So I hope they at least listen when we talk about Doctor Who.
Yes. Yeah. We'll give them a heads up. Say, hey, this week you can listen because you'll get it.
Yeah. Well, next time we have them on, we'll make sure to give them grief about it.
Yeah.
It's good-natured grief. It's grief between good friends.
Yeah.
We just tease. It's all.
Oh yeah.
We love you guys still.
I always listen to Traveling the Vortex, but I may find myself a week or two behind, so it happens.
Yeah.
So I won't be annoyed too much.
Too much.
They're gonna have to work to get back on my Christmas card list, though. You want that Christmas card from me this year? You're gonna have to earn it. So.
Send all bribes to.
Well,
I'll take it in small bills.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Anyway, probably ought to close this up.
Yeah.
Yep.
We still we always manage to get loopy.
Yes, we do. It's late on a Sunday night.
That's true. And I've now missed the Academy Awards, but that's okay. So.
You didn't miss much.
It's passed over into Monday morning here.
Yes.
That's true. It's still the 10 o'clock hour for me, but for you two,
yes, it's late.
Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, let's close up shop here. Oh, I guess I have to start off, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Sorry. That's my bad. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
Well, closing out for the Fiveish Fangirls, this is Chrissy in Salt Lake City saying goodnight.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario saying goodnight.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Good night, everyone. Been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.